we had this epic standoff, and I remember, being in the ring, and it was so loud in there, and you could feel like the ring rumbling. And then we just had this standoff, and the vets were telling us, hold on, and just feel it. And then eventually they just came after us, and we just had this fight, and it was amazing. It was amazing. I've never heard the crowd that loud before, but again, you know, I was very, very new, so I didn't have a whole lot of frame of reference for this. But when we got to the back, I remember Jericho and Edge saying, "No, no, no, this pop was unprecedented." And the vets were saying this, this wasn't just a loud pop. This is something like they haven't heard too often in their career, or if ever before. So then I was realizing, wait, whoa, this is like major. I didn't realize this. This is like an all-time pop, they're telling us. So we really had something there. And I remember we came in the back, and again, Vince was smiling. Vince was so high on this. He said something else again about, smelled the money. It was some other comment about money. And it was wild to me because I'd heard stories of him talking about that, or saying things like that. And this is now the second time I've heard him make a comment about, oh, this smells like money, or this is going to bring in money here about Nexus. I don't think I ever heard him say that again. Not too many times, but he definitely said it here. And how this was such a major moment. This is on the cover of the DVD for SummerSlam. Was not even at SummerSlam. That's how important and impactful that moment was. I don't know if they still revisit this, but if they ever go back and they list the greatest pops of all time, this should be up there. Definitely has to be up there. So this is SummerSlam's August 15th, 2010. On August 10th, 2010, that was my son's first birthday. So I had a lot going on at this time. And I remember the biggest thing I was most nervous about at that time was I didn't want to miss my son's first birthday. Because again, like I told you, WWE controlled my life. And in my career at WWE, I missed so many birthdays, weddings, you name it, but not my son's. I always made sure, hey, no matter what, I'm not missing my son's birthday. I'll do whatever I have to do. However, being a rookie at this time, if the dates didn't line up, I was going to be in trouble. But I talked to the office. They were really cool about that, because that's one thing I loved about WWE. They always respected me as a father and my family. Always, especially Vince. So if I ever needed time for my family or whatever, they would bend over backwards, to help me out. And so most of the time, except for if I need to fly to Madison Square Garden and I only have 23 hours with my fiance. Other than that, most of the time they would help. But anyway, I was just relieved that I was able to be there for my son's first birthday and still make it to SummerSlam, which was in Los Angeles. And I had a lot of people coming to the show because just off of who I was, and it was in Los Angeles. And, I wasn't just a wrestler at that time. I also was well known as a reality star, and just a person in pop culture. And the fact that myself and my fiance as a couple were always in the news, there was a lot of buzz just around us and around me, especially. This was my first ever SummerSlam, so a lot of people were there. I'd been doing a lot of press to help promote it as well. So there was a lot of pressure, just a lot of eyes on me on this day.